Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a efficient mind map. So what I've got here is I've just got some highlighters. I've got my pencil case, there's a couple highlighters in there, so I'll just take them out. I'm going to put them in colour order so I don't trigger anyone. But yeah, so what I do is I have some highlighters, I have a black felt tip pen, and then I have my assortment of coloured pens in my pencil case. Today I'm going to be doing King Lear, so it will be on a time lapse because this is something that I actually need to revise. It's going to be going pretty quick. It should only be like a 5-minute video after this intro. But yeah, so I'm just going to be explaining how to make a mind map efficiently and how to pick out the key terminology and all that shiz. So let's just get started. So obviously the key part of the mind map is the title, then I stem off into other subheadings and I just highlight them to make them look pretty, and then for each subheading I add a yellow bubble full of the key parts of the information for that subheading, and here I'm just starting to write up key quotes. Okay guys, so now I've finished the key quotes section. Basically I've just put arrows on there. It's not that big of a deal to me, arrows on there, because I just use the colours to differentiate like which part's which, and obviously this part I've added an arrow to show where the analysis is and stuff. So really the arrows are just for me to quickly count and know that I've got 5 quotes. Now I'm going to go on to the theories. Context is a difficult one for this one, but of course you just want to fit as many points as possible. So for English literature, with every theme, you want to try link it to theories, get key quotes, get key characters, and get any context in there that you can. Because I knew that a lot would be squashing into this bit, like maybe I should have left a little bit more space and maybe put this over here, but I've comfortably fit most of them in there. I'm okay writing small, I can read this perfectly fine myself. But yeah, when it comes to the context bit, which I know there's not going to be as much of, I'll just write in bigger handwriting. But yeah, so I'm going to continue with that, and then I'll come back to you when it's finished. Okay guys, so I just finished the key characters part. Now same again, I just added little arrows where obviously I had my points to say. Now I realised that they get kind of lost in there, so one thing that you can do is just highlight the arrows with the same colour that you have highlighted the titles, just to make them stand out a little bit more and make them a little bit more obvious. So in this bit now I'm just going to highlight the key parts. Any definitions or part that don't directly link but can be linked to key characters, I'm going to highlight in a different colour. So for my colour I'm just going to use green, and yeah, so that will help me differentiate between, so this is a definition, so if I highlight this in green and then this is a like just kind of a more in-depth analysis kind of thing. So if I just highlight the title of that in blue, and then I'm just going to highlight all of the names in yellow, so then it just helps me differentiate between what is what in this paragraph. Of course you can add a key if you want to, but personally I don't like to do that. So yeah, okay, so all I have to write now is the links to the theories. So that's going to be Marxism, Great Turn, Being and Disengagement, which are in big bits here. This here is just to indicate what's in the paragraph, just so if I can have a quick glance and see what's going on. So here I'm just demonstrating how you can revise from the mind map. So all you got to do is take post-it notes, write down the key headings, and then cover up or get someone else to hold the sheet and you can test yourself. Okay guys, so as I said, so I've finished now, but as I said, what you can do is cover up the things or have someone to test you and just have a little like key list in order to test yourself effectively. What you basically want to do is have clear points. So for example, in my key characters I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clear points and a definition. So I can write that down so I know that I need to get all of them if I wanted to. So
6 key points, 1 definition. Like, that is literally all you have to do. Links to theories, I have 3 key points. No definition. Context, I have 2 key points with 2 sub-points each. And then for key quotes, again, just write down who said the quote. So this wasn't a true one, but for the first one, Goneril, the second one, Lear, the third one, Kent, the fourth one, Gloucester, and the last one, Gloucester. So you see what I mean? Like, you just write it down so you've got a little bit of a prompt, and all it takes is this much paper.
If you keep doing it, you can then turn this into flashcard form and condense it even more. So get all of this onto one side of a flashcard and just keep condensing it, cutting out the bits that don't matter. And as you keep revising it, you'll just remember, and you could literally remember from it saying, you know, for this quote and its analysis, I could just put wrath, avoid my sight, and I would remember the whole quote and remember the whole analysis. Of course, I ain't at that stage yet, but that is how you can use this efficiently. So I'm going to continue this video for anyone who does King Lear and just go through what I've put on here today. So yeah, if you are clicking off this video now, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I will see you again in my next video. Bye. So as I said, I'm just gonna go through what I put on this sheet, just for anyone in my college also doing King Lear, and obviously people in other places that are doing King Lear. So in this, I have made a poster of the theme of blindness. So I've got context, key quotes, links to theories, and key characters. Honestly, I found the context bit quite difficult, but I did end up having to squash a little bit in there. So this bit is up to interpretation, and if you think you can find evidence for it. Personally, I think I would be able to, but as they say in English, nothing's wrong as long as you can find evidence for it. So hopefully I do all right with that. So with key quotes, I just got these offline, so I'll start with those. I've got "Sir, I love you dearer than eyesight," which is a quote by Goneril saying how she compares her false love to sight, which is something that should not have a set value. So this just shows that she's deceitful. Oh, go away, motorbike. This shows that she's deceitful, malicious, you know, and she sets her stakes on something so important, and it's unnatural because obviously eyes are a part of your body. I know not everyone's works, I'm not trying to discriminate, but I'm talking about majority here. So can these motorbikes go away? Are they having races? But yeah, you can just say how her comparing it to sight is unnatural. For the other key quotes, I got this offline, so I don't really think I needed the dragon and his wrath bit, but hence and avoid my sight shows how Lear discerns Cordelia and avoid his sight. Eventually when he goes mad, he literally cannot recognize her. So this is kind of saying how metaphorical blindness turns into literal blindness, and it reflects how Lear is violent and rash with his actions, and this is what ended up blinding him to the true motives of Goneril and Regan, because he was just so, quick to do stuff. It begins with an I think. You know, when you just chuck yourself into something without thinking that word. I'll think of it later and I'll hate myself for not remembering it. Yeah, so the next quote is, "See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye." So this is Kent trying to help Lear see that Cordelia is only being integral, unlike Goneril and Regan, but Lear is blinded by his stubbornness, which is foolishness, and flattery. This shows Kent's loyalty ultimately as well, because he is putting himself out there and going against Lear, who, even though Cordelia is a princess, Lear is still higher than her, and he's going against Lear to support her. But it also shows how loyal he is to Lear's family as a whole, and how he just wants what's best for them. Obviously, with the fact that him coming back, that can support that as well. You could also say that how Kent is advising Lear, it shows that he is not afraid of what Lear will do, because he knows that his words may stick with Lear at some point, and he just wants to make sure his opinion has been heard in order to benefit Lear. So, next quote, "I have no way, therefore I want no eyes. I stumbled when I saw." Now, this was Gloucester saying this. He believes he has no direction in life, and he recognises now that he was naive to believe Edmund of what he said about Edgar. So basically he's just saying that now he does not need eyes, as when he did have eyes he couldn't differentiate between good and evil. Also, a quote said by Gloucester is, "Unnatural brutish villain." There is a little bit more there, I've just put ... and it just says how he is easily convinced by Edmund. So I would link these two quotes together. Okay, so as well as that, I've got context, key characters and theories. So we've got Albany, Goneril and Regan, Lear, Gloucester. So basically overall with the three men, Shakespeare is trying to say how you need more than eyes to see, basically. So Lear is blind from the beginning with the love test, blinded by his stubbornness and flattery. Goneril and Regan are blind to each other. They both want the same thing, but they don't recognise the measures the other sister will go to get what they want. Albany is blind to Goneril's plans, but he eventually figures her out with the help of Edgar, and he survives in the end. Gloucester's blindness stopped him from seeing the truth in his sons. He actually got them totally the wrong way around, and even though Edgar never gave him a reason for him to not trust him, he still believed Edmund, which we could say is how he respected both children equally, even though Edmund was his illegitimate son. But you would question why he would just believe everything he says, especially when it's about his other child. So maybe he actually favoritised Edmund a little bit more than he did Edgar, as you don't even see him speaking to Edgar in the play, if I'm right. Also, I just put here that the younger generation versus the older generation. The younger generation are the ones who are deceitful, yet also the ones who see through the lies. I also put the definition of blindness, which is lack of perception, awareness or judgment, and then semicolon, ignorance. So that's basically a good way to put it. Links to theories, I put that Marxist theory states how usually it is the bourgeoisie with the power exploiting the proletariat and blinding them to the truth. You can link this to the Great Chain of Being, because obviously the Great Chain of Being says how everyone has a certain place in society. So it says that the king is the king and should stay on top, and the proletariat are the wage slaves or people in poverty, and they're the ones at the bottom. Why is my brother shouting over Fortnite? Can you hear that? Yeah. Okay, let's carry on. So, however, in King Lear, it is Lear and Gloucester, two of the most powerful men, who are blinded by their own foolish ways. They leave Kent, who is alert and is no way blind in this play, and Albany, someone who overcame blindness, linked back to the younger generation, being able to see through the lies, and someone of lower status to rule the kingdom. Hashtag ironic. The theory of disengagement supports the idea of how you lose touch with society as you age. This fits in hand with blindness, as it shows how blindness is ignorance as you separate with others. So as Lear and Gloucester age, they become more set in their ways and don't want to listen to anyone else. You can link this part to the quote over here about see better Lear, blah blah blah, the Kent quote, because Kent is trying to advise him, yet he don't listen. So he made his own downfall. Hashtag tragic hero. So for context, sorry I'm going so fast, I don't want this video to be hella long. But for context, we have divine right of kings, Lear as king, linked to King James and the supernatural. Now, as well as links to theories, context is my own point. So you'd have to back it up, because obviously I've just kind of word vomited onto the page. I need to find stuff to support it, which I'll get on post-it notes a little bit later. But this is just some quick revision for next week, so I don't really have time. But I've just put, due to Lear being king, the audience would believe that he has advice straight from God, divine right of kings. However, Lear's blindness and mental state clearly shows that Lear is not the messenger for God any longer. This has most likely happened when he decided to split his kingdom, as king with no land or authority is not essentially a king. Shakespeare also disliked the monarchy, and although he wrote some plays such as Macbeth to please them, he wrote Macbeth to please King James, as he loved like witchcraft and stuff. He was like obsessed with it. So yeah, although he wrote plays to please them, we can argue that King Lear contains some digs against King James. So Lear always asked the gods or supernatural to help when he fucked up. So you could say that this links to how King James loved witches so much that he even wrote a book about it. I mean, he was king. Why is he sitting there writing books? He should be sipping champagne and shit. Which this is blindness to reality, which is ultimately what leads to Lear's downfall. I would say blindness is one of the top themes. Like, it would definitely be in the top 3. I don't know if it would be number 1, but it would definitely be in the top 3. So you could say how Lear, being an ignorant, bad word, led him to die. And this is him having a little bit of a dig at King James, because obviously King James was the king at the time. So yeah, that is basically my little summary of this mind map. Like, rate and subscribe if you like this video, and if you would like more videos like it. I'm going to try send this to everyone in my English. If you are in my English literature lesson, please forward this to anyone else if you thought it was a good video, because I don't have everyone on Snapchat. Okay, thanks. Bye guys.